Thank you so much for joining me at your phenomenal exhibition here. What year is this for
So
Forever Is
this
Now?
is the 4th edition of Forever Is Now, but the 8th edition for Art d'Egypte.
Wow. So thank you for joining us for the 4th edition here out at the Giza Pyramids. Probably the most classic bucket list site for an art installation for any artist around the world, I would imagine.
Definitely is.
You can't get more
Becoming
epic.
quite popular.
Wow. And so, can you tell me a little bit about your background to start? I mean, I tell people all the time outside of Egypt, on the podcast, on the shows, and everything, that until you come to Egypt, until you meet Egyptians, you just don't know how diverse Egypt is. It really is a diverse country in many ways, and I think you, in a lot of ways, embody that because of your background. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
So I always refer to it as the koshari, which is a mixed meal in Egypt. So that's me. I have Greek, French, Italian, Turkish, Egyptian roots, and Coptic. So I must say that the Egyptian side is truly a descendant of the pharaoh. And I was born and raised in Alexandria, a cultural city founded by Alexander the Great as a cultural city. And I think it was all thanks to my upbringing and thanks to the people that were around me when I grew up. So I had many examples, like the famous Jean-Yves Empereur, who's the archaeologist that worked for 20 years in Alexandria, created a research center. He's the one that discovered the sunken treasures of Alexandria.
Oh, wow.
And this is incredible because we also have a huge rediscovery because the lighthouse of Alexandria was kind of found again. So this initiative started in 2017. The first edition was at the Egyptian Museum, the Tahrir Museum, which I'm sure you know, which in my opinion is something like no other in the world. It's a 1902 building. It's beautiful because it has not changed a bit since then, with the wooden showcases and the typewriter captions. It's a museum that is really close to my heart. So the first edition was there. It was a bit strange for everyone around us because it was a very unorthodox exhibition showing the transcendence we have with our heritage, and it was a success from the first day. We had collectors from around the world. We had actresses like Isabella Gianni that came from Paris, and year after year this initiative grew, but always with Egyptian artists. So the year after was Manial Palace, and then historic Cairo Mu'izz Street. But in 2020, we were confident enough to go up to the government and say, okay, we're ready to do an international exhibition here because this is World Heritage and it does belong to the world. It's such a significant, iconic site and it has so many meanings. Thus, Forever Is Now. It is really a token of appreciation to humanity. For me, it's a symbol that, humanity will prevail. In my opinion, it's also a symbol that gathers the world around here. We all know what the pyramids is. As you said, any artist, it's their dream. I mean, they're written in history now that they're against the backdrop of the pyramids. And at this point, artists approach us. It's really a dream to so many artists, whether they're advanced in their careers or they're younger artists. And I'm super happy to be standing here next to the Korean artist because for the first time we have artists from Asia. And his artwork is also very significant because as you can see, it's hieroglyphics. He wrote in Korean, there's Arabic letters, and from the inside, it's children from around the world. And I think in this day and age, it's an important message, that children are allowed to dream, and you can't tell the difference. When you look at the pictures they've drawn, you cannot say this child is from Korea or the US or Egypt. So he's an incredible artist, I think, that really goes with our message.
And you said from the first day, essentially, Art d'Egypte was a success from your first event at the Tahrir Museum. But I know the hard part is probably making it look easy. It couldn't have been just as easy as,
no.
I have an
It
idea,
just gets
let's do
tougher.
it. Can you tell me about some of the challenges you faced in trying to do such, a monumental project in monumental places that has not been done in a place like Egypt before?
Yeah, look, so there are so many challenges, and I think this goes to so many countries. Archaeologists at the beginning were kind of opposed. we're a country where public art isn't shown. You don't have really land art. We're not in LA. So this was also very unorthodox. So first of all, but this shows the power of soft power. I mean, it's such a strong tool. So one, to make the public understand what we're doing, the archaeologists, the officials, to understand the benefit of such an initiative. It's incredible for cultural tourism. I mean, our VIPs are treated to a 4-day full cultural program, and you open keys to things that you cannot normally see as a regular tourist. And as you said, you get to know the real Egyptians. You get to know the public. You get to know the amazing art guides that we have. We have 250 art guides every year that we train under the UNESCO. We have we're patroned by the UNESCO since 2019. So to change the mentality and to be a pioneer, that's the hard part, because you take all the challenges. Financially, it's a struggle, because at the end of the day, we rent the spaces that we work in. We democratize art. As you see, there's no tickets to the exhibition itself. So this is an extra challenge of also bringing in the private sector to change the mentality of the corporate world, that such an initiative or such an event gets more exposure than a belly dancer or a singer, but they get more money. So this is also an extra layer of challenge. But the nice thing is that a lot of people have recognized our work worldwide. Some foundations have been patrons with us. Some companies such as Dior have supported us before. So we're looking for more partners from around the world, because really this has a global impact. Our PR value exceeds $15 million every event. It's organic. The media goes crazy, and people write all over the world. I mean, now in Korea, it's insane. The artist was telling me, like, one publication got 1 million impressions in less than a day. Wow. So this is also another way of connecting the world, having different artists. It's like it turns into a bit of a biennale, This is national pride to have a South Korean artist here working along with an Indian artist and an Italian artist, a Greek, British artist.
Kind of like the Olympics of art.
It's exactly it. Ways. Yeah, that's a nice, I'll use this one. But it's true, it's true. And I think this is super important, and it has a global impact. So the exposure is not really local and regional, but it is truly worldwide. Like for our VIP opening, we had 300 international guests, people that are on the acquisitions board of the Tate, Pompidou. Harvard is on our board, so we had Harvard as well. This has helped us a lot, at least give us confidence that we're on the right track. Yeah. And we try to, so this will always be the main exhibition, but we also have satellite exhibitions. So we have downtown, which I encourage you to go see because it's incredible. We've opened up Cinema Radio, a 1930-year-old cinema that has not changed since 1930, with the flickering Art Deco lights and the old paints. So we take over these spaces with contemporary Egyptian artists. So we have 100 Egyptian artists, and 12, all of these artists have done miniatures for this space. And this is also in downtown Cairo, next to Tahrir Square. It's open to the public. People just go in and see the art. Some of the international guests buy the artwork. So this is really creating a momentum, and there's a very vibrant contemporary art scene. I mean, we're a land of civilization, a land where, if you're a regular person in a regular country, a very sanitized environment where you take your train every day going back and forth to your studio, you don't really have much to express. Mm-hmm. But in Egypt, as you said, I mean, you sit on a cafe, you just talk to a porter from one of these old buildings, and the stories you're going to hear. We have so many stories to tell. And through art, we do that. I mean, we tell our own narrative, and we have the rest of the world come and also have a chance to tell their stories here as well. So I think this is also quite important.
It's almost kind of like a an international conversation. Like you said, different pieces are telling different stories, but you have pieces from different nationalities, artists of different languages. In a way, it's almost kind of like you're having an international dialogue right here in this
Exactly,
iconic
and
environment.
you don't even need to speak a certain language.
Yeah.
So when you look at, we're a team of women, and I'm very, very proud of them. You met Ale, there's Isra, there's Shahd and Layla, who've been superstars because they're both the engineers that made all this possible.
Oh, wow.
And as you can see, we lift, we get sand from outside of the pyramids so that we don't touch anything. So we don't even touch the actual sand of the pyramids. We bring in trucks of sand to elevate the ground a bit, and then the installations are done. This amazing team of women actually manage 150 workers every day with forklifts and cranes. It's a huge undertaking. And not only that, but the workers, it becomes like national pride. They're so happy to be part of this initiative, and they start interacting with the artists even though they don't speak the same language, but they kind of find a way. So you don't need to be speaking a certain language or be an art connoisseur to understand public art, because we actually curatorially think of it differently. We are really, from the very first edition when we had over 500,000 visitors in a month, it went viral, and we were like, my God, we never have ever expected to have such an influx of people. And you can see today, I mean, we have schools, universities that come. It became like a must go and must see,
it is.
even for the local community, for people come in from different parts of Egypt for that. So the idea is also, like talking to so many people, I think it reverberates somehow in the universe. But again, I mean, you don't need to be speaking a certain language to understand those artworks, and it's more of an interaction with the public. So our curatorial direction every year has created like a trilogy between the visitor, the viewer, the artist, and the amazing civilization.
Wow. Now you mentioned, you started out at the Tahrir Museum, and then you sort of grew. You moved to Manial Palace, and then you said Moai Street as well, and then finally this iconic location. What's next for Art d'Egypte and for Forever Is Now? Do you want to expand in other places in Egypt? Do you want to expand in other places in the world? Bring Egyptian art externally?
Definitely.
What's your dream?
Definitely. We have actually, so Tale of Two Cities is a new initiative that we started in June. The inauguration was at the Acropolis Museum.
Wow.
So we were the first contemporary art exhibition to take place at the gardens of the Acropolis Museum. And the reciprocal exhibition happened on the 28th of October at the Library of Alexandria.
Oh, wow.
Also featuring some of the Greek and Alexandrian artists, and also other parts of other coastal cities, especially the Mediterranean, because Alexandria is a Greco-Roman city, so you have Greek, Italian, French influences, and at the end of the day, being a port really shows how the world is connected. So I believe that I'm a global citizen, and I believe that the whole world is connected. So if you ask me, in 10 years, we want to be doing this everywhere in the world.
Wow. Have you had offers to bring the exhibition on the road, to tour it in other places yet?
Not really, because I mean, it is a site-specific exhibition. So we do site-specific exhibitions.
Have you had any requests to create site-specific exhibitions, given your experience doing it in a place like this?
We did open a consultancy called Cultivator, based in Dubai. So we actually consulted on Nouriyad, for instance, in Saudi. We did Greece. We did also, it was like a cultural program where we had something with the Onassis Foundation, the Cavafy Archives. We had the Benaki Museum, an amazing family, Greek family from Alexandria, and the Acropolis. We've done Art Genève in Switzerland. Also, we've curated a couple of exhibitions in London. So yes, definitely, we're ready.
Nice. You mentioned how you don't charge tickets, for example, for this. It's free and open to the public. You're democratizing art. But I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that would love to support you, to support Art d'Egypte, to support your projects in any way they can. I mean, I heard you mention that you sell some pieces down on in downtown.
Yes.
You do sell replicas of these, or what are they?
They're smaller, yes. They're
Smaller
miniatures of the big
miniatures.
artworks. And definitely, yes, because it's also incredible exposure for a lot of foundations. So we've had Bloomberg before, Bloomberg Philanthropies as one of our patrons. We've had foundations from Saudi, from Bahrain, from the UAE. So it is quite important to, to show this also global solidarity as well.
Is there any way yet that members of the public, the international public, can support you? Can they donate online? Is there an online store yet for Art
Look,
d'Egypte?
we've never done that, but it's true. We do have merchandise, and we do on Artsy. We do sell art on Artsy. Yes.
Okay.
We have everything on Artsy. Look, the only thing is that I find it. I mean, it also happened organically. I'm for women empowerment, and I believe that women really make a difference. And it's unfair that sometimes the rest of the world sees this region as that women are the underdog, which is not true. Especially as Egypt, women ruled Egypt in ancient times. So, and I think it's still, until today, I must say that every time I hire a woman, there's like 10 times more efficiency. Sorry, but that's the
Makes
truth.
sense.
And I think it's also a movement in the region because I see, I've worked with a lot of women in Saudi, and it's incredible what they do in the UAE as well. So I think this is also something very nice to show how women are trying to have a voice here in our region, and we are really making a difference. I mean, this has a huge impact.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me where we started the conversation, talking about the diversity of Egypt, and how in a lot of ways you embody that personally as well. But it's kind of amazing that like you said, a lot of people don't realize the Arab world is a lot more diverse, that Egypt is a lot more diverse and inclusive in a lot of ways than people think outside of Egypt or outside of the region who don't know it well or haven't visited here yet. And like I said, people don't realize that there's a huge Coptic population here in Egypt. People don't realize that people here in Egypt have a lot of the same freedoms that you do in Europe and the U.S. But it's really interesting too I think that you have sort of a women-led organization operation that's bringing this to Egypt and to the pyramids and to the world, really, where you're not only woman-led, but you're bringing together artists from all over the world to you're essentially facilitating that international conversation with a woman-led team. I think that's really amazing and inspiring as well. And I think I have to tell you honestly that I've seen this project for the past 4 years here. I've been to every Forever Is Now since the first one, and I've been in Egypt 21 years. It's a long time.
That's
but
a long time.
Working here 10 years. But I remember when it started. I've seen it every year, and I just working here for so long, knowing how hard it is to do things here, especially things that are outside the box, that are new, or that challenge sort of the conventional way things are always done. I cannot even. I'm just in awe of how frustrating, hard, but also rewarding and sort of incredible it must be for you to see it grow to this level. And I think it's honestly only the beginning. I think a lot of people haven't even heard of it yet. Hopefully they will, with folks like us trying to share this with the world.
Definitely.
But I'm in awe.
Definitely,
I'm in awe.
we need that because we're a team of 15 people doing the job of 100.
Wow.
I work 18 hours a day. I almost take no time off.
Yeah, I know.
So it is a challenge. It is a challenge because, as I was saying, it's such a different, unorthodox initiative where the benefits are not yet fully understood, although we've proved ourselves. We've gotten the Dior fashion show to Egypt that helped the economy, of course. A lot of the artists, by the way, produce with local fabricators. So that's another thing as well. So there are so many benefits to the country. Cultural tourism and what we do really benefits. There's a whole creative economy around it. So it's very important to have this initiative supported because it really has an on-ground impact that is incredible, especially when you talk to the art guides and you see how, the mentality changes. And I think since the 50s, things have kind of changed for Egypt. I'm a bit of an old soul. I'm friends with my parents' friends. So I think this is what I want to bring back, the good old days of Egypt. And we are, we managed to do that. Having people walk downtown, I remember the very, very first time I invited my parents' friends, and they were like, but we haven't been downtown in a long time. And I'm like, no, come with me. And some of them were like very important businessmen. They're like, wow, we didn't know that there's a company that is working on renovating the old buildings. I mean, we have some beautiful Art Deco buildings. I mean, it was Paris by the Nile. And as you said, Egypt was a melting pot of so many different cultures that have really left an impact. So we had the Armenian community, the Greek, the French, the Italian, the Jewish community. As you said, there's a very big Coptic community. So all this really makes what Egypt is. And this is something that is in everyone's DNA. You can't take it away. And Alexandria was beautiful because, I mean, especially Alexandria, there's no focus on Alexandria economically. I mean, I left Alexandria 20 years ago. And I was so overwhelmed that I actually cried in my speech. I was like, all of a sudden, in the Library of Alexandria, looking in front of me, and I had managed to get 100 people from around the world, collectors that actually came to spend 2 days in Alexandria and were fascinated by the beauty of Alexandria. And also, we did the walks downtown Alexandria. We took a look at the synagogue. We took a look at all the old buildings, at the beautiful theaters. I mean, we had the most important cinemas. Frères Lumière had their performance in Paris and then Alexandria. So I really believe that this can come back one day. This is where, I mean, artists from around the world, no matter what religion, country they're from, are here. They're representing their artwork, and we're all gathering here for a message of peace. At the end, we're all the same. So hopefully, peace will come soon.
You're doing something. If anybody can do it, I think you can. Nadine, thank you so
Thank
much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure was mine.